Welcome to Ballbusters Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth debate. If you'd like to support this channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum. Now, we are joined by Paula, otherwise known as Bible Literalist, and Quantum Eraser. Very good to have you both.
Hello, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, good evening. So, we did have a main topic of conversation for today's show, although at the last minute, thanks to Iron Realm Media, the subject has had a late admission. So, I think we're going to start there. Is that correct, Quantum Eraser?
Yeah, that's correct. I want to apologize to, I was talking to a lot of people on Discord for the past couple of days, and I had said we were going to go over a couple of the flat earth proofs again this week, and something came up last night. So I like I said, I'm sorry about that, but don't fret too long, because next week we're going to run right back into them. One of those subjects we're going to do today, but the other subjects I told them that we're going to be today, we're not going to get to. So I'm sorry about that.
There's always another Ballbusters.
Exactly.
Cool. Well, should we get this show on the road then, or?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Tell me when it's up.
Yeah, you're up. You're presented.
Yeah, like I said, I changed the presentation because of a video I received last night by, I don't know who it was, Nathan. So the presentation will be in two parts. The latter, as a result of the overwhelming response and request to repeat it, I'm going to drop anchor right there and spend the next few weeks doing exactly that. Now, to put an exclamation point on some old business, I'm going to toe tag Glowbusters Bob. Actually, he did it and brought it on himself. And I don't see a scenario where this Glowbusters Bob and the FE Core Carnival Clown Show is going to be brought up here again. If it is brought up, my response will just be to send this toe tag and just be done with it, because I don't want to deal with it anymore. All right? So we're going to toe tag him and put the exclamation point on. So like I said, a video last night was sent to me. We're going to go over his comments. There's two comments. We'll get to the next one here in a few minutes, but I'm going to read through this thing a couple times so there's no mistranslation, no miscommunication. So, Bob, Glowbusters Bob, not everything has to meet the stringent requirements of, dependent variable, independent variable, observed phenomena. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, and it's great for the most part. But let's face it, if we had to run everything through that ringer, and then whatever didn't fit through that ringer, then all of a sudden we couldn't call it science. Therefore, it didn't exist. Then this is a big problem I have with some people that are promoting that idea. Then science would never get anywhere. Just because it doesn't meet all the requirements of IV, DV, observed phenomena, all that bullshit, and then just say it doesn't exist, well, then you're an idiot, and I'm sorry for you. Ha 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 ha. So, what's been happening here for the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've been getting videos sent to me by Bob, little girl Bob, in the back channels, frequenting these shows, some of them I never heard of, and giving this same spiel or something roughly close to it. Right? So I'm tired of it. And like I said, I'm going to put an exclamation point on it. I'm going to read this again. So like I said, no mistranslations, no misinterpretations. Let's listen to it again. Glowbusters Bob, not everything has to meet the stringent requirements of, dependent variable, independent variable, observed phenomena. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, and it's great for the most part. But let's face it, if we had to run everything through that ringer, and then whatever didn't fit through that ringer, then all of a sudden we couldn't call it science. Therefore, it didn't exist. Then this is a big problem I have with some people that are promoting that idea. Then science would never get anywhere. Just because it doesn't meet all the requirements of IVDV observed phenomena, all that bullshit, and then just say it doesn't exist, well, then you're an idiot, and I'm sorry for you. Ha 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 ha. So, obviously, some people, right? We all know who these some people are. And this is confusing to me. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, and it's great for the most part, talking about observed phenomena, dependent and independent variables. But then, almost in the very next breath, he calls the IVDV and observed phenomena all that bullshit. So, what is it, Bob? Is it bullshit? Or is it fine and dandy and it's great? Right? You ever heard of contradictions before? This is a slap in the face one. Let's get to the meat of this. Number one, everything that's actual science, Bob, must have a dependent variable, i.e. observed natural phenomena, and an independent variable. It's called a scientific hypothesis, Bob, which leads to an experiment, Bob, from the University of Rochester Physics Labs. The scientific method distinguishes science from other forms of explanation because of its requirement of systematic experimentation. So, I don't know, Bob, from what this is saying right here, you need experiment to be science. It distinguishes science from everything else. From badminton, from chicken soup, from economics, we need experimentation. Let's get another few other thoughts on the matter from subject matter experts. From Luar's Introduction to the Theory and the Application of Molecular and Quantum Mechanics, the final arbiter of truth in science is experiment. From Professor Shankar, Chair of Physics at Yale, the only way things change in physics is experiments. Everything is based on experiment. That's the only way we change our mind. From Richard Feynman, if it doesn't agree with experiment, it's wrong. And that simple statement is the key to science. From Max Planck, experiment is the only means of knowledge at our disposal. Everything else is poetry, imagination. So, what constitutes a scientific experiment? From Penn State, Bob, there should be 3 categories of variables in every experiment: dependent, independent, and controlled. The dependent variable, the effect, the result, or the prediction. The independent variable, the cause, that which is varied or manipulated by the scientist to produce the effect. And controlled variables, variables that are held constant so as not to confound the test. Funny, they didn't call it bullshit here like you did. It's interesting. From explorable.com, experiment. There are 3 important variables you have to remember when you are designing your experiment: the independent variable, the dependent variable, and control variables. Again, no bullshit here. From Anne-Marie Helmenstein, PhD Biomedical Sciences from ThoughtCo. When you design an experiment, you are controlling and measuring variables. There are 3 types of variables: control variables, independent and dependent variables. We're getting a repeating refrain here, aren't we? And we still haven't seen bullshit just yet. Let's go further. So, from the Institute of Physics, Bob, when planning an investigation, students need to identify the variables that they consider significant and then select the ones they want to look at for cause and effect. If possible, any other variables that will affect the outcome of the experiment need to be kept constant during the investigation. These variables are the independent variable, dependent variable, and control variables. Shocking, I know. From GCSE Chemistry, what are the 3 main variables within a scientific experiment? The independent variable, the dependent variable, the control variables. From the National Science Teachers Association, Bob, when it comes to conducting a scientific experiment, there are three components that are very important. They are variables, constants, and controls. Let's take a look at each. Variables, these are the aspects of the experiment that change. There are two types of variables, dependent and independent. So, dependent variables, these are the variables that will change as a result of your tests. You will not be changing these, but you will be keeping track of them, as they will oftentimes indicate the results you are looking for. Independent variables, these are the variables that you will change in your experiment. You should try to have only one independent variable at a time in your tests, so you know for certain that the results you are seeing are caused by the one change you made. Constants, these are conditions that will remain the same during your experiment. It's important to note what stayed the same in your experiment, so you know that the results you are seeing are not caused by these factors. From the University of North Carolina, in an experiment, the independent variable, not the bullshit variable, the independent variable is the variable that is varied or manipulated by the researcher. And the dependent variable is the response that is measured. An independent variable is the presumed cause, whereas the dependent variable is the presumed effect. The IV is the antecedent, whereas the DV is the consequent. Let's go to Wiki, to the Ballbusters alma mater. An experiment is a procedure carried out to support, refute, or validate a hypothesis. Experiments provide insight into cause and effect by demonstrating what outcome occurs when a particular factor is manipulated. Take a wild friggin' guess what that particular factor being manipulated is, Bob. You're the idiot, Bob. And yes, you are sorry, you friggin' ass clown. Number two, not everything has to run through the scientific method, Bob. Only natural cause and effect relationships. Number three, clumsy fuckwit straw man fallacy, Bob. Nobody says that anything that hasn't gone through the scientific method doesn't exist. You just made that shit up. Number four, reification fallacy, Bob. Science doesn't go places, get somewhere. It's an inanimate method. Okay? In conclusion, you're a self-demonstrated scientific illiterate. See pretender clown. And it's you and only you that sailed the coffin shut, Bob. It's just you, no one else. Thanks for that. And the second comment, then we'll finish up with this. So, Bob from Ballbusters. It's no wonder why a lot of Globers come in and say, well, flat earthers are scientifically illiterate. What a coincidence. And they're completely stupid because they have no idea even what they're arguing. Because again, they have this tendency to want to throw everything out just because it came from the mainstream. I got news for you. It's not all wrong. Yeah, 99% of everything we were probably always taught, no doubt about it, was lies. Believe me, I've researched conspiracies for long enough to know that they haven't. You know, pretty much the mainstream says one thing, the opposite is probably actually true. So, Bob, the Globers say that because, like you, they wouldn't know the difference between actual science and popcorn shrimp, their ass, or a pipe wrench. That's why they're saying it. And you love it too, don't you? Yeah, you know why? Because you're now a confirmed terrorist sympathizer, Bob. This thing has been going through flat Earth now like a plague, right? I predicted it about 6 months ago. I said, we got to root these things out. They're dug in like an Alabama tick. They're just not saying too much. They're saying a lot now. Number three, stereotype fallacy, flat earthers and they. And just to let you know, I don't throw everything out. I don't know where you got that from. You're just making shit up again. Number four, you switched from science, or better said, what you think it is, to conspiracies. That's a non sequitur fallacy, Holmes. Number 5, Globers come in, right? Come in where, Bob? Certainly never on your show. And number 6, so it's not all wrong, Bob? Just 99%? And can you tell me, pray tell, what's it? What I want to know. Again, and finally, let's just finish this up. It is you and only you that sailed the coffin shut, Bob. Thanks again. Like I said, this is it for my comments to Bob. Unless he wants to come in here and talk to me, I'm not dealing with this back and forth nonsense, right? Unless it's a one-on-one. Other than that, we're just gonna toe tag you with this part, and I'll just send anyone that has any questions or they bring this topic up. I'm just gonna post the toe tag and be done with it. Okay? That's it. Let's stop right there for now.
Shout out to Chow Young Cat. Says the new sheep screensaver is awesome, much better than the pouring bottle. Thank you very much for the super chat, Chow Young Cat. I've got nothing to add. Paula?
Mainly only just to emphasize why it is that the scientific method is a method and why it's needed, because in my electronics studies, one thing you're expected to be able to do is troubleshoot. And troubleshooting means that you must only have one variable, that you're going to manipulate, because you're trying to narrow down a cause of a problem. And to narrow down that cause, if you change two things at a time, it may be one of those things and you're wasting your time. You have to isolate one thing you're changing from everything else. And when you determine that that's not the problem, then you go on to another variable, one at a time. And that's why the scientific method is necessary. When you're applying it to science or engineering, you have to use the scientific method, because you have to isolate things, which is, of course, not to say that everything that is not done scientifically is not true. That's a philosophical argument. Whether something is true or real is more in the realm of conclusions that we draw from scientific experiments or observations, and not to be mistaken as the same thing, or that they're interchangeable. One depends on the other. And so this method is very important, because you couldn't do even engineering without it. So you use science and engineering. There's a reason you have that method, the scientific method, because you have to isolate things. And that's what it's all about. So when you say that you changed something, that some action you did in an experiment is a cause, you're not saying that, for example, you raise the density of something, that somehow it's coming from you personally. It's that you, as the experimenter, varied something, and the variation is the thing you did. Why that variation happens is another experiment. And that's the point that I think that the two sides are talking past each other, partly, there's a lot of other things, but that one especially, because you have to isolate one thing at a time, and they're trying to bring in two or more things when they say, well, just because you added salt to the water doesn't mean that's the cause. Well, technically, yes, it is the cause. You did something. That's how scientific experiments work. And then later you can find out, why is it that adding salt to the water increases the density? But the fact is, as a method, you did something. That's the cause. And it's a simple point, but it's a really tough one to get across for some reason.
Wholeheartedly agree. And the big problem is, and this has been the problem from the beginning, people are using the term science without any cowbell. They're just using that term without anything behind it. To be science, you have to do systematic experimentation. That's it. If you don't do it, it's not science, period. It's the end of story. So I don't know what they're going to do. Anyone that says science, you know what I'm going to do. So I don't know.
Yep, because words matter.
Yes, they do.
Okay, so shout out to Kevin Burns, who says, tell Holy's Way and Cooper Curve to join the panel. Lol. Thank you for the super chat, Kevin. What I will say is, if you joined this stream before it went live, refresh your page. There is a link to join Discord. And after each of the Flat Earth topics, we are going to ask for comments from the Discord server. There's only one person at the moment. Obviously, they're on mute while the presentations are going on. But after each point, we will open the mic to the public, and you can challenge that particular point. Another shout out to Rari Keneally. Get on Holy's Way. Yeah. Okay. Happy to move on. Are you ready, Quantum Eraser?
Yeah, just let me know when the screen's up.
You are up, not spinning.
Yeah, listen, with those Discord comments, we're not going to be discussing the Bob from Ballbusters. That's an in-house flat earth thing, so we won't be discussing that. This is fair game, though, right? This is the one, I'm serious, I was kind of surprised. I shouldn't have been surprised, but this is the one I got a lot of comments about. They were saying, you got to keep pounding on this. But what I'm thinking here is, because I have had this argument for a long time, what I'm thinking here is people are actually trudging through all the convoluted bullshit, and they're finally understanding the Coriolis effect, because it's not that hard. But with all the convolution, it's almost just on the surface. You can't do this on the surface. If you're just looking on the surface, it's hard to get through all the noise. But once you do that, once you figure out how easy this is, then it's quite beautiful proof. So let's get on with it. Like I said, I'm dropping anchor here for the next few weeks. This is going to be the not spinning. Oh, yeah, we're going over and over and over this. So, yeah, it's not spinning. For the Coriolis effect to exist, you must have, that is, the necessary conditions, two differing frames of reference. One rotating coordinate system, that's non-inertial, the Earth, and one non-rotating coordinate system, inertial, the atmosphere, and everything and anything in it. From Sigard Douglas, the Coriolis effect, critical concept reminders. When set in motion, freely moving objects, including air, atmosphere, and water masses, clouds, water vapor, move in straight paths while the Earth continues to do what? Rotate independently. Because freely moving objects are not carried with the Earth as it rotates, they are subject to an apparent deflection called the Coriolis effect. To an observer rotating with the Earth, freely moving objects that travel in a straight line appear to travel in a curved path on the Earth. And we're going to get an example of this exact statement from Wiki here in a few minutes. In other words, anything not tethered to the Earth is freely moving. Number two, the object in question not physically attached to the rotating coordinate system, Earth, appears to deflect. That is, moves independently of the rotating coordinate system from a vantage point anywhere on the rotating coordinate system. That is the Earth. In their fairy tale. So if the Coriolis effect exists, and this is very important, with respect to the Earth, we're talking about the Coriolis effect's existence with respect to the Earth, then a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Los Angeles nonstop, traveling at 500 miles an hour airspeed, with both locations roughly at the 35th degree north latitude, i.e. both allegedly spinning at 860 miles an hour, should be 1.5 hours. Simple math. But it's 4.5 hours. Charlotte to LA flight, airspeed, 500 miles an hour. The ground speed, you have to take 500 miles an hour plus the 860 mile an hour alleged rotation speed. That equals 1,360 miles an hour. So in my example, number one, two differing frames of reference, the Earth and the atmosphere, and everything in it. Number two, the plane in the atmosphere is freely moving, i.e. not attached to the rotating coordinate system, and is flying in a straight path. In other words, based on the law of non-contradiction, each, the Coriolis effect with respect to the Earth and the Charlotte flight at 1.5 hours are either both true or both false. The flight is most assuredly false Therefore, the Earth is not spinning, ergo, the ball goes by way of the dodo bird, or you're a stationary ball geocentrist. Voila. That's it. Over. Now, the only way you can try and weasel your way out of this is if you're of the position that the atmosphere spins with the Earth. But of course, that's going to cause a lot of problems for you. And it starts right here. So then, please explain how the Coriolis effect can exist when the necessary conditions for it to exist are two differing coordinate systems, i.e. reference frames. One rotating non-inertial, that's the Earth, and one rotating non-rotating inertial, the atmosphere and everything in it, right? So let's take a look at this for the 25th time. Let's just read it. In the inertial frame of reference, the upper part of the picture, the black ball moves in a straight line. However, the observer red dot who is standing in the rotating non-inertial frame of reference, the lower part of the picture, sees the object as following a curved path due to the Coriolis. So you guys see what's going on here, right? This ball is going straight. It's in the inertial frame of reference, right? The only reason why this person down here, this person, the red dot, sees it curving is because that person is on the rotating non-inertial frame of reference. He's curving. It's making it appear that the ball is curving, but it's not. It's only an apparent deflection. Moreover, does anyone see an equator here? No? Does anyone see latitude or longitude lines here? No? What about north or south or any other direction? No? There's a reason for that. It's the same reason there's not gummy bears in here. Why? Because gummy bears and everything I just mentioned previously has nothing whatsoever to do with the Coriolis effect. Is this clear? Now, if you still believe this right here, if you're of this position, you're in violation of the law of non-contradiction. And this is only the first one. There, you got more problems coming down here. Number 2. Show the experiment where gases or a gas rotate in lockstep with a rotating solid body just 5 centimeters above the surface, then provide the mechanism. You do understand that gases have no intermolecular bonds, right? Obviously rhetorical. So do gas molecules attach to the Earth and each other by Velcro, superglue, molasses, pixie dust, other? And just a reminder, gas molecules, i.e. air, vibrate and move freely and randomly at high speeds. I got a good visual for you guys here for the renowned spinning space monkeys. So this is from Purdue University. We learned this in like 3rd or 4th grade. Gases and liquids and solids, how do they behave? Well, we're just interested in this left guy over here, right? It's a microscopic view of a gas. So, if they're spinning in lockstep with anything, they have to be attached to each other, right? Does this look like they're attached? Hello, McFly. This is basic gas behavior. 3rd graders know this, right? Just stop right here and end the whole presentation. But we won't. Question. How can gas molecules that make up the atmosphere that move freely and randomly at high speeds, yet, according to the intellectual elite baltards, rotate in unison, that is, not moving freely and randomly at high speeds, with the Earth from west to east? Right? You're in violation of the law of non-contradiction number 2. We're just going to start piling these up right here, man. Just piling them up. Number 3, please explain east, north, south surface winds on a spinning ball that has the atmosphere, that is air, wind, gas, rotating with it from west to east. How is that? This doesn't even make any sense. And of course, because it doesn't, it's a violation of the law of non-contradiction number 3. Bonus question. How can you have different wind speeds moving in different directions simultaneously at differing elevations of the atmosphere, all the while the atmosphere is collectively spinning east in unison the same. Right? Here we go again. Violation of the law of non-contradiction number 4. You'd have better time, better luck reconciling married bachelors. By the way, these are contradictory statements right on their face, right? Number 1, the atmosphere spins with the earth. Number 2, the existence of east and north-south surface winds. Not even getting into the differing wind speeds at different elevations, just on the surface with these two, right? You're done. Oh, by the way, which do you think? Which one of these do you think are false? Right? The atmosphere spins with the earth, or the existence of east, north, south surface winds? Which do you think? One of them's got to be false. You pick. Moreover, following the Mensa Baller's yarn, every cubic nanometer of atmosphere traveling horizontally from the equator to the center of rotation must have differing tangential speeds. And every cubic nanometer of atmosphere rising in elevation from each respective horizontal cubic nanometer of atmosphere must have differing tangential speeds. In fact, the higher the elevation, the faster they'll need to travel to keep up. And all of this rolling along at different speeds in unison? East? Give me a break. Violation of the law of non-contradiction number 5. Going for a record. This is so far beyond preposterous ludicrousness, absurdity, evolution, whatever that is, multiverses, and married bachelors are blushing. And does anyone know how far this increasing speed, rope-a-dope, fairy tale spinning atmosphere ends? I'd like to see that. It'll give a whole new meaning to guillotine wind shear. Goodness gracious, people. P.S. I went over this above. Are the gas molecules attached to each other by Velcro, superglue, pixie dust, molasses, other? And where is the energy coming from for the continuous shot in the arm injections needed to keep each successive cubic nanometer of atmosphere higher elevation brethren in tow? Where's that coming from? Alice in Wonderland is more tenable than the prestigious ball-tard spinning space monkey religion. The prosecution rests simple. You live in a fairy tale, the end. By the way, the noble spinning space monkeys are so confused, aka ICD-10F72 codes. You see, the actual argument isn't that the Coriolis effect doesn't exist, or that planes are apparently deflecting. Planes don't apparently deflect, guys. Okay? The actual argument is, I'm using the Coriolis effect causes conditions that afford the existence of the Coriolis effect. Like we already went over above, the 2 differing frames of reference, the most important things. To pummel the spinning part of the exalted fairy tale spinning ball-tard space monkey religion. That's what I'm doing. It's just that simple. If the Coriolis effect is true, and it is, merry-go-round in a ball, and we just witnessed from the alma mater from Wiki in the GIF, and if the Earth is rotating, then the Charlotte to Los Angeles flight at an airspeed of 500 miles per hour must be, no ifs, ands, or buts about it, it must be 1.5 hours. It's not. And never will be. Ergo, the Earth is not spinning. And like I said, one of my favorite topics right here, hurricanes. So, you're saying that hurricanes spin in opposing directions in the northern versus southern hemispheres, respectively, due to the Coriolis effect, right? That's what you say, but you're just parroting stuff that people read, from Wiki or whatever, from what the meteorologists say on TV, right? You're just parroting it. Right? They're banking on you parroting and not looking it up. I'd sure like some of the angel dust lace shrooms the distinguished space monkeys are snorting. Right? So let's look into this. This isn't that hard, right? Please focus on apparent deflection, not real, appears, does not actually in the following citations. So back to Seagard Douglas. Because freely moving objects are not carried with the Earth as it rotates, they are subject to an apparent deflection called the Coriolis effect. To an observer rotating with the Earth, freely moving objects that travel in a straight line appear to travel in a curved path on the Earth. From the University of Oregon, the effect of the Coriolis force is an apparent deflection of the path of an object that moves within a rotating coordinate system. The object does not actually deviate from its path, but it appears to do so because of the motion of the coordinate system. Now, the University of Florida has they've adopted the same definition. Like I said again, apparent deflection does not actually, that's what apparent means. It appears to do so. From Utah State University, the Coriolis force is an imaginary force because objects affected by it are really following a straight path, like the ball in the wiki example. It is an apparent deflection we see from the vantage point or frame of reference on the rotating Earth. Same thing we've seen upstairs with their alma mater wiki, the GIF. From California State University, the Coriolis effect describes the apparent deflection, curving of an object traveling in a straight line. Just getting the echo from every single one that we've had so far. Let's finish it out with the encyclopedia.com. Within its rotating coordinate system, the object acted on by the Coriolis effect appears to deflect off its path of motion. This deflection is not real. It only appears to happen because the coordinate system that establishes a frame of reference for the observer is also rotating. So they're all echoes. You see all of them. They're apparent deflections. They're not real, right? Uh-oh. Here comes the punchline. Ballers, you need to turn away right now. I'm warning you. So we've all seen these before, haven't we? Whether it's the Weather Channel, nightly news, images, photographs, we've seen these. Northern Hemisphere looks like it's going counterclockwise, right? That's an actual direction. We are actually seeing these move actually, right? In the Southern Hemisphere, clockwise. And by the way, this doesn't always happen, just to let you know. There's some cross-referencing here. It's rare, but it happens. That's not the point. I digress. But these are actual directions, right? See the problem yet with the Coriolis effect? Let me let you in on the secret. What does an actual spin, clockwise and counterclockwise, have to do with the Coriolis effect, which is what we just went over? Apparent deflection, not real, appears, does not actually, por favor. They're contradictions. Answer key, absolutely nothing. In other words, how can clouds be apparently deflecting actually? Right? Did you catch that? Let me say that again. In other words, how can clouds be apparently deflecting actually? Unbelievable. Violation of the law of non-contradiction on nuclear steroids. This is tantamount to giving a presentation on quantum numbers with excruciating details on S, P, D, and F orbitals. They're not orbitals, by the way. Then concluding that they are responsible for the creation of facultative anaerobe woodpeckers. Hello, McFly. Wake up. Alice in Wonderland is more tenable than the highly decorated, ball-tarred spinning space monkey religion. The prosecution rests. Simple. You live in a fairy tale. The end. P.S. Book called Pendulum. One of our favorites. From mass.org, plusmass.org. Once you set one in motion, its direction of swing will rotate at a rate of about 0.2 degrees every minute. But in fact, it isn't really the pendulum that's rotating. The pendulum is swinging back and forth in exactly the same direction. It's the Earth which is rotating underneath the pendulum, which makes it appear that the pendulum is in fact changing direction. Now, what does this sound like, right? We just been going over it for the past 10 minutes. If you don't know it, I still got Tommy back here with the tack hammer. Go ahead and ring your call button, right? This is the Coriolis effect. That's what we're talking about here. Number one, if that's true, then why couldn't we just hover in a helicopter in North Carolina for 3 hours and catch a Dodger game? Sounds ridiculous, right? But that's what, if this is true, then this is true. It's just that simple. If the Foucault pendulum is legit, which denotes two separate reference frames, just as we were talking about with the Coriolis effect, the two separate reference frames, the pendulum is swinging back and forth, right? And the Earth, which is rotating underneath it. We got two separate reference frames. That's all you need. Now, if that's true, then get ready. This is going to surprise you. Then a flight from Charlotte, North Carolina to Los Angeles nonstop, traveling at 500 miles an hour airspeed, with both locations roughly 35th degree north latitude, that is both allegedly spinning at 860 miles an hour, should be 1.5 hours, but it's 4.5 hours. Charlotte to LA flight, airspeed 500 miles an hour. You've heard this before. Ground speed 500 miles per hour plus 860 miles per hour. Alleged rotation speed, rolling in your face, equals 1,360 miles an hour. The distance between Charlotte, North Carolina, and Los Angeles is 2,115 miles. Simple math, flight must be 1.5 hours. Actual time, flight time, 4.5 hours. Does this 1.5 hour flight time ever happen? No. Then say bye-bye now to the illustriously dignified and knighted ball-tard spinning space monkey religion. Thanks for your ear. Have a nice day.
Cool. Thank you very much. I'm going to read out some super chats if it's good by you. And then we'll go back to the Discord server. So shout out to Earth is Seriously Flat, who says, teach children how to test the globe doctrine. And Flattaday, perfect day for globortions. FE wins. Thank you very much for the super chat, Earth is Seriously Flat. Also, a big thank you to Tina Baker. Loved the sound of that cowbell. QE is ace. I wholeheartedly agree, Tina Baker. Thank you very much indeed for the $50 super chat. Really do appreciate it. Shout out to No Proof. Nathan, Ballbusters needs its own channel. And great work, John. Hopefully they will get it. I hope. Hope springs eternal. Anyway, so thank you very much to everybody for hitting the super chat. We'll go straight to Paula if you've got any comments, and then we'll go to the Discord server.
Yeah, just one thing I saw in chat was that in the illustration of the ball being thrown, it goes in a straight line. Well, the disc turns. They said the disc is the equator. Funny how that works. I guess the bottom half of the globe turns one way and the upper half turns the other way, because that's what they're saying when they say that it wouldn't follow that same direction in the southern half. I don't even know what point they were trying to make with that. But of course, the other thing is, again, that they want to have their cake and eat it too. If they want to say that you can't hover in a helicopter and let the Earth go underneath you and arrive at your destination, then they say, well, you have this momentum. You've been spinning with the Earth, and when you got out of it, you know, off the surface, you continue to spin. But like you've been explaining, that means there's no Coriolis effect. They can't have their cake and eat it too, but that's what they want. Other than that, no, it seems pretty obvious to me. I don't know what else to say.
Hey, we want to, Nathan, do we want to nip these snipers in the bud too?
What snipers?
Yeah, because, you know, they always come back with the sniper routine.
Oh, I thought you meant the Discord server.
Oh, no. Yeah,
okay, we're going to go straight to Holly's. How am I saying your name? Is it Holly's Way? Holly's Way?
You can say it however you wanted to say it.
Holly's Way.
Anything for you, Nathan.
Perfect. Well, for some reason you were requested by a lot of the people in the live chat, so have you got a question or query or anything to challenge what's been stated so
I've
far?
got one thing to say just about Ballbusters in general. Can QE just not only read off of the screen? Can we not have, like, other stuff on the screen, because just reading from the screen in general is kind of boring.
Have you got anything to talk about the Coriolis effect, the reference frame,
No,
spinning ball of
not
Earth?
at all.
No
Nothing
worries.
to say. I just wanted to say that.
Okay, no worries. Shout out to Earth is seriously flat. Word of the day: globe diarrhea, regurgitating doctrine. Thank you very much indeed. So we've also got Mad Burnsy. Is it? How you doing? Can you hear us? Oh, can you try again one more time? No, no worries. We've got one last person. Excellent, something or other. Exiles from heaven. Oh, no, disappeared. Okay, so that's it. Nobody else in the Discord server. We'll have one last try. The only person who's in there. Everyone runs away as soon as we want to get them to talk. Can you hear us, Mad?
Yeah, fancy that.
No, nothing from Mad.
Hey, like I said, do we want to go over the snipers and you know they always bring this up. We can go over that.
Yeah, happy to.
Yeah. So the snipers, like I told you before, I'm retired military. Half my career was spent in reconnaissance. That's combat arms. I lived down the hall from the snipers for 5 years. We're all buddies. We not only trained together every quarter, we played together. I've personally, myself, made multiple 1,300 plus meter shots. The Coriolis effect wasn't ever brought up, much less applied, ever. Right? So people, get your heads out of your fourth point of contact. These people that were in the military and are out here stating that they apply the Coriolis effect are full of shit. Period. End of story. And the next one they bring up is field manuals, right? The Coriolis tables and military field manuals. That's what they got. Like I said, I opened a field manual friggin' twice in 21 years. During once the E5 board, second E6 board, promotion boards. They could put the burial location of Jimmy Hoffa in all the field manuals, and the secret would still be safe, for goodness sakes. I'm going to give you a scenario. Back in the day, we'd get defectors, East German and Russian soldiers, right? Then we'd have to attend the debriefings by G2, that's intelligence. The defectors would go on and on about the utter frustration training to fight against U.S. forces. Everyone knew that. And why would that be? Well, they know we didn't follow our manuals. Why? Because we never looked at them. Which is a duh to anyone that has spent any time active in the U.S. military. Everyone knows this. So I don't know what these people are talking. These guys are frauds, whoever coming out here talking this smack. Because if you brought up field manuals as like a resource to any real soldier, you'd get belly laughed out of the room, man.
Okay, got a new contender. Got the Rumpus. Air is not the atmosphere, right, Rumpus?
That's correct. Absolutely correct. How can you not understand this? I mean, it's just so simple. If you think that's a problem, I mean, I know you're stupid, but this is taking it to new levels. For instance, let's suppose I have a sandcastle and I take away some sand from the sandcastle. Are you saying that the sand I've now got in my hand, which is all misshapen and no longer the shape of the sandcastle, is the same as the sandcastle? Are you not familiar with the idea of the fallacy of composition? The fact that the atmosphere has structure, density, flowing, it's subjected to heating in different areas. That's a very different thing from just some air in a jar. And the fact you don't understand this, I mean, it really is damning on your intellectual capabilities.
What does
It's extraordinary. And you don't understand what Coriolis is. And poor old quantum laser, the idiot, doesn't know what an apparent force is. It's extraordinary. He thinks he's entitled to lecture on this, and he knows nothing about the subject.
Hello. So let's start there. What does atmo mean?
It's irrelevant. It means it's composed of air. We know that, Nathan.
Sorry, it means
but
what?
It's an atmosphere. That's an object. And the etymology is irrelevant. The point is we know that there is air in the atmosphere, but it's a body. Has macro properties. How can you not understand this? It has a pressure gradient. It has got the sun radiating on it. It's got meteorological effects. It's got in it. It's got winds. That's not what's going on.
It's got farts in it.
Entity. I mean, how? I mean, you cannot be this stupid, or can you? I mean, it's extraordinary.
So just to answer my question then. So the prefix for atmosphere, atmo, what does it mean?
Yes, it means air. We know.
So air is the atmosphere then. The prefix is actually air. So air is in the actual word atmosphere.
We know it's composed of air.
So air is the atmosphere. It's comprised of air? Yes, that's correct, Rumpus.
Has macro properties.
That's fascinating. Air is the atmosphere. Atmo means air. Air sphere, if you will.
There is air. It's composed of air. That's correct, but it has.
Air is composed of air. No, the atmosphere. Atmo. Air. So anyway, let's move past that. We'd already nipped it in the bud. I've been spamming the chat with this, so obviously the chat can see you defending this complete nonsense once before, but always nice to round out the same point again. So
come on, do you understand it has different pressures and densities? You've got to accept that.
Who cares?
Everybody's
Atmo.
laughing at you. Your viewers are laughing at you, Nathan.
Nobody's laughing at me. Atmosphere. Prefix. Atmo. Air. Moving on. Coriolis effect then.
Okay, so we've established you're an idiot regarding air atmosphere. Right, okay.
Atmo, meaning air. Atmo, sphere. Air, sphere. Quote, Rumpus 2016. Air, atmo, is not the atmosphere. Atmo, meaning air.
It's not the same thing, Nathan.
Yeah, atmo, prefix for atmosphere, meaning air sphere. So to declare that the very prefix is wrong is quite simply your stupidity. Moving on to Coriolis, let's embarrass you again. Everybody is laughing at you, Rumpus, because you are stupid. You are denying the very prefix of a word, atmo in this instance, meaning air. When you declare that air is not the atmosphere, you demonstrate your stupidity. Let's move on to Coriolis.
Macro properties, Nathan.
Oh, you want to stick here? I'll just keep saying it then. Rumpus is a moron. He declared quite boldly, and still does, that air is not the atmosphere. Atmo, meaning air.
It has different temperatures, it has flows, it has cyclones. It's very, very different. It has extra macro properties.
Not
and
interested.
If you can't see this, I mean,
Atmo,
God,
sphere.
I mean, you're just fighting off reality in your head
meaning
somehow.
Air. Moving on, did you have anything to challenge the actual presentation other than demonstrate your stupidity repeatedly?
I'm demonstrating your stupidity. We've demonstrated some of your stupidity there. So let's move on to the stupidity of QE then. Right, so he doesn't understand what an apparent force is, which is dependent on the reference frame. So he was saying something like the rotation. I only caught the last bit of his idiocy. He's demonstrating cyclones and things in the different hemispheres. And he thought that there was nothing to do with that because he calls it an apparent force and therefore it doesn't do anything. If he understood the physics, he would realize it's the reference frame that determines. Of course, the atmosphere rotates with the Earth, and he doesn't understand that. He doesn't understand how bullets work. He doesn't understand that a bullet has its own reference frame. And you get the Coriolis effect on a bullet whether or not the atmosphere was present. So that's something you need to think about. The atmosphere doesn't determine the existence of a Coriolis effect for a sniper's bullet. Also, he's in denial of what snipers do. There is lots and lots of videos and manuals, field manuals of snipers using the Coriolis effect on long-range shots. Just because he didn't encounter it, well, perhaps he was just at the bottom of the class. They didn't trust him with long-range shots. He doesn't understand the basic physics. He doesn't understand simple terms that I would expect a 13-year-old to understand.
Are you done?
He doesn't. I bet he doesn't understand.
I don't want to hear any more lists of things he says he doesn't understand. That was a very long list of claims. So
Okay.
which one do you want to start with, QE?
Okay.
I ain't gonna talk to this moron.
I don't blame you. I'll have a
Have
quick bash.
you ever solved an
No
equation
worries,
in your life?
Rumpus.
QE? Have
Rumpus,
you
that
given
wasn't your
any of the
opportunity to
formulas?
keep talking, so no. I was going to address some of the things you stated. You claimed that a sniper takes advantage or takes into effect the Coriolis effect. So the bullet travels through the air and the Earth rotates underneath the bullet. Is that correct?
Yes.
So if the Earth rotates under a bullet, as you claim, it's not actually the case, but as you claim, then the Earth would rotate underneath an aeroplane.
Well, not depending on if velocity. Hold on, I'm getting an echo here. The Earth does rotate, but the velocity that an airplane acquires is relative to the Earth. So if it's traveling at 500 miles an hour, let's say near the equator, then in absolute space it's traveling at sort of 1,500 miles an hour. But relative to the Earth, which is the thing that matters, and that the atmosphere also rotates with the Earth, it's only traveling at 500 miles an hour relative to the Earth, and that's what matters to it. But yes, you do get a slight Coriolis effect, even on powered things, but it's no more forceful than, say, a slight wind. So it doesn't affect any pilots and things. They do far more adjustments for wind than they have to do for any Coriolis thing.
Well, if the Earth rotates underneath the bullet, and it also rotates underneath the plane, then you'd have exponentially shortened durations in one direction of the claimed spin of the Earth, and you'd be fighting Earth turn going the other direction. That's if the Earth rotates underneath the plane, in the same way that the Earth is claimed by you to rotate underneath a bullet.
No, the largely, if you ignore the Coriolis effect, the Earth effectively does not rotate underneath the.
Oh right, well we're not ignoring the Coriolis effect. That would be doublespeak nonsense when you're claiming we have a Coriolis effect. So I'll reiterate the Coriolis effect. We won't just ignore it for aeroplanes now, will we? No. No! What we will do, though, is point out that according to Rumpus, incorrectly, we do have a sniper on the panel who made the presentation, and has made very long shots. I believe he said 1,200 metres. I doubt very much Rumpus has ever done such a thing. Nevertheless, he claims that the Earth rotates underneath bullets, and if the Earth rotates underneath bullets, it would also rotate underneath planes, giving you exponentially shorter distances travelled, because the Earth would rotate underneath as you travelled towards the continent, or you would fight Earth turn in the other direction. Now obviously this is complete nonsense. Nobody's having their duration of travel shortened massively because the Earth rotates underneath. That's preposterous.
You've got confused. You're confused, I'm afraid. Very, very confused.
No, definitely not. If the Earth rotates underneath the bullet, then it would also rotate underneath planes, and you'd have exponentially shortened durations of travel in one direction, and you'd have to fight Earth turn in the other. I'm definitely not confused.
You are very confused.
No, I'm definitely not confused. If the Earth rotates, then the Earth rotates. If it's rotating underneath the bullet, or say a ball. Maybe, yeah, let's forget bullets, because it's just a lie. As I say, we have got an experienced sniper on the panel who's made shots at 1,200 metres. You, on the other hand, are just a moron who thinks air is not the atmosphere, so I'm not going to really listen to your claim about bullets. However, it's claimed by your pseudoscience priest Neil deGrasse Tyson that a ball is also affected. You throw the ball and the Earth rotates underneath, moving the goalposts, according to that particular pseudoscience priest of nonsense and ball Earth rotation. But if that was the case, and the Earth rotated underneath a ball or a bullet, then it would also rotate underneath a plane, but that simply does not happen. So it's not that I'm confused, I understand perfectly. It's just the case that the Earth does not rotate underneath bullets, it does not rotate underneath balls, and it absolutely, most definitely, even though Rumpus said we should ignore Coriolis, the very subject matter, laughable, it definitely doesn't rotate underneath an aeroplane, because we would know.
Let's try and resolve this problem with your east-west business and aeroplanes taking off. Effectively, you get confused between the Coriolis force and the effect of relative motion with the Earth. They don't have anything to do with that. The speed of an aeroplane taking off, remember, it's like being on a train taking off. An aeroplane being on the runway and taking off is like you being in a train. The train can be going at any speed you like. The only thing that matters is your relative velocity to the train, and you're going backwards or forwards along the train is equally easy for you and requires no extra force one way or the other. Similarly with an aeroplane going on the surface might be traveling 1,000 miles an hour, but the atmosphere picks up the velocity of the atmosphere, and so does an aeroplane. So it finds going in either way exactly the same. Now,
I've just got a quick question, sorry, just to get clarity. Is a plane and a train a closed or an open system?
An aeroplane is an open system. There's lots of
an aeroplane is an
movement of
open
air
system.
molecules.
I've been on plenty of aeroplanes, and I honestly don't remember my head being ripped off by 500-mile-an-hour winds going past me in that open system. It's not like a truck bed, let's face it. It's definitely not an open system, Rumpus. Are you a
It is an
moron?
open system.
Did you just claim that an aeroplane is an open system? They have to pressurise aeroplanes, Rumpus. You can't pressurise an open system. That would be ludicrous. An aeroplane is a closed system, Rumpus, capable of being pressurised. So you're wrong to declare that an aeroplane is an open system. So what about a train?
If it was a closed system, Nathan, you would die of asphyxiation.
Nah,
Stop him right there. Stop that weasel right there, Nathan.
Okay.
Stop him, because he's going to try to weasel his way out here by playing the exchange of energy. So, Rumpus, you little friggin' weasel, you. See, they pay attention to detail when it's time to pay attention to the detail, when it's convenient for them. Okay, Rumpus, we're going to seal off that train. We're going to seal off the ventilation systems, and we're going to cover it. They're going to weld the windows shut. And we're going to put people on that train or plane with friggin' oxygen masks, which doesn't have any material effect on your argument whatsoever. Now start again. Is it a closed or an open system?
My sentence, QE. Right. Okay, here we go. So, in an aeroplane, there is a vent. There's an open that allows air, and it's actually pumped in by the engines. Hold on. And that's pumped into the aeroplane cockpit, etc. all the time, and air is expelled all the time. It is an open system, both to energy and to particles. If it wasn't, you would die of oxygen asphyxiation. So
here we go.
He's repeating the same thing. If you think it's not an open system, you have to be a complete
the same thing
idiot.
Again. That friggin' weasel.
I mean, it's just ridiculous.
That retarded weasel going to do the same thing again.
Yeah.
Answer the question I just said. Answer the statement that I just gave you.
Just repeat it once more.
He just did the same thing again.
I know. I want you to repeat your question again. Huey, can you repeat your question?
The statement that I made.
Yes, the statement. My apologies.
Yeah, it has no effect. He's just weaseling his way out. He's trying to get out of this closed and open system thing when it is totally irrelevant. When we could close up the windows, close up the ventilation shaft, put people on these planes or trains with oxygen mask and oxygen tank. It has no material effect on your argument. Now we have a definite closed system on both. Now what's your argument?
Us taking turns to do this. How about us taking turns? I'll just finish again. There's a big vent that allows air.
Here we go again.
He's just going to keep doing the same thing, isn't he? My God. So, what he's equivocating with is an open and a closed system, basically. He's saying that a plane is an open system because they can draw in air from the outside. That's his.
That's exactly right. And the energy coming through when the sun's shining, right?
Well, hold on. No. That doesn't count. I mean, closed is closed. You can still transfer heat through the plane's walls. So, no, that's not going to fly. Oh, I've got a bit of feedback from you, John.
You're breaking up, man.
Can you turn your speakers down?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, that's not going to fly, Rumpus. Have you got anything else, or is that it?
That makes it an open system if air is coming into the cockpit from outside.
No, it doesn't. That's absolutely ludicrous. Look, you can't pressurise an open system, so this is just preposterous. I don't really understand your argument in that regard. Is it because you're going to equivocate between open and closed systems with Earth, which is where I was going?
Oh my God, how can you be this stupid?
Oh, so that's a yes. I would take that as a yes. You will be equivocating between open and closed system when it comes to the comparison with Earth. I can read you like a book, Rumpus. You're quite amusing, though. You're good for the audience ratings and all that.
Let me take it through you slowly. A closed system allows heat exchange. An open system allows heat exchange and mass exchange. A closed system allows heat, and it's an open system in the sense you can have both heat and
here we go again. He's going to repeat the same thing again.
Yeah, he's just going to keep repeating the same claim over and over again in the face of any rebuttal. So this is rinse and repeat time. Okay, I've had enough, Rumpus. I'm sorry, but 4 times is enough for you to repeat the same nonsense.
I mean, you just go and look it up, Nathan. It's quite simple. Go and look up the definition of an open system, and if you've got a big hole in your purpose, it's not an open system. It's an open system. I mean, it's just so simple. I mean, how can you be arguing?
It is simple.
Why do you want to die on this piece of stupidity?
Your weasel argument, Rumpus. You ain't listening. Yeah. As per usual, go back 3 years ago where I handed you your ass and that friggin' knucklehead planar explainer, right? Go back there with that video. In fact, let's make it a toe tag.
Planar Walk got it all wrong when he was speaking to you last week.
Not Planar Walk.
That paper.
Yeah, he got it all wrong. He didn't understand what he was talking about.
Yeah, paper explanator.
Whereas I do. And you don't. You don't understand what you're saying at all. You don't.
Okay,
we're going to toe tag you with that too.
Four claims, the exact same, ignoring of all rebuttal, and then just on to ad hom. So that's that's the end of your stint here, I'm afraid, Rumpus. Do you have any more to your presentation, John?
No, I wanted to finish up with those two. I didn't know how long it was going to take, so we can finish up with those two. I'd like to leave it there with those.
Okay. I mean, it's going to be a short Ballbusters then if we don't get any response. I'll take everyone off mute in the Discord server, other than Rumpus. Anything to add? Anybody else in Discord?
Hey, Nathan, before you
really
do,
excellent
do you
points
see...
there. I know
Hold
this
on
won't
a
be popular,
go
but
ahead.
my guy Rumpus was speaking facts only there, and you had no answer. That's what I've got to say.
Sorry,
wow.
No answer to what?
He was cool. Okay, right.
Sorry, no
Since
answer
I've
to...
listened to all of
hold
you
on, the other chap in Discord. No answer to what?
I have a headache and I'm dehydrated. If any of you in this Discord right now...
I won't shut up. The other chap who just
tell me
leveled a claim...
what questions are...
Yeah, shut up. The other chap didn't address what? Hello, Mad. Hello, Holly's Way. How you doing?
Can you unmute? Yeah, hello. Can you unmute Rory?
Well, was it Rory or was it Mad that just levelled that claim that we didn't address something?
I don't know. I just saw that Rory was...
Yeah, thank you. I'll run my show. Thank you. Shut up. Can I unmute somebody? I run this show, you stupid dick. So, Mad, you levelled a claim that we hadn't addressed something. No, fair enough. Okay, Holly. Okay, Rory. Rory.
Whoa, can I speak?
Go ahead.
Hello?
Mike's all yours.
Yeah.
Since I've listened to you talk for like too long and I've got a headache and I'm dehydrated, could I have set me a time limit and I'll do my piece in that time limit and then I'll let you talk and discuss. Is that okay? Mr. Debater, Mr. God.
Got all the time in the world. Mike's all yours.
Okay, right. If anyone in this Discord can explain to me what doubt is, I'll accept the Earth's flat. Yeah, it's a fucking joke, isn't it?
yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, this is typical ball-tard nonsense.
I'm gonna use this platform to plug my Twitter. HTTPS
Oh no, you're not.
// twitter.com/RoryDoesMusic. Check it out. It's pretty cool.
Anything else?
Is that all you got, ball-tard?
Yeah, anything other than shameless plugs?
I think Rumpus out-debated the two of you.
Really? Go on then.
Yeah.
What makes you think that?
He did. I do think that.
Okay, what was his main argument?
I don't know. It seemed like he intellectually outdid you.
I think Rumpus absolutely smashed
Oh, wow.
you. I actually did a toe tag earlier, as this has been a short Ballbusters QE. I don't know if you caught it, but Ute sent me a toe tag 606 of a guy called UKPI. And basically, similar circumstances, Miles Davis says he's absolutely debunked Anthony Riley's assertions, obviously within the begging the question proof of nothing perspective hijacking curve calculator. Nevertheless, the guy just assumes that Miles isn't lying and has actually debunked Anthony and comes in and makes the same claim, right? And Anthony then picks apart this dude's presumption and takes him through the actual claim step at a time. It's just the same rubbish, right? These dudes, they come in. I think you just got smashed. Really? What was the argument that smashed us? I don't know. Really?
I watched it.
Guys,
Yeah.
I've got it. Eureka! Look in the live stream chat. I found the proof that the Earth's flat. Look, I got it.
Oh my goodness, Brenda.
Whatever.
Look at it.
Shout out to Yuya for hitting the super chat. Put a lollipop. Thank you very much indeed for smashing the super chat.
Oh, I donated, by the way.
Well, thank you.
Can I have the image I put on the live stream, please? I paid £2. Like, come on.
What did you
Cut
say?
me a break.
What did you say?
Please, can I have the image I put in the live stream Discord on your YouTube live stream at this time for only like a few minutes?
Okay, when I get to it, I'll read it out. Shout out to Earth is Seriously Flat, says ripping de-globe lovers a new black hole. Thank you very much. Vlad on Flat Earth, also thank you for the super chat. There is no debate. Natural laws and facts equals flat. Thank you very much indeed, Vlad on Flat Earth. Another shout out to Earth is Seriously Flat. It's atmosphere. It's the new term. Let's change it. Oh, atmosphane. I just instinctively read atmosphere. Atmosplane. Yes, indeed. Atmosplane. Let's change it. Thank you for the super chat, Earth Seriously Flat. Shout out to Rising Eagle also for the super chat. We are laughing at you, Rumpus. Yeah, I know. But thank you for the super chat. Always worth highlighting. Way BMX, thank you very much for the super chat. Rumpus, stick a fork in yourself. You're done. Indeed. And Joshua Doyle also, thank you to you for the super chat, who says Rumpus is that turd? Okie dokie. Thank you for the super chat. I didn't see a super chat from you.
Hey, Nathan, who was talking about they posted something in the live stream?
Rowery, I think his name is.
Oh, that was me.
Rowery?
Yeah, no. I donated and then I put an image in the live stream Discord and I'd like you to put it on the live stream for like 2 minutes, please.
I found it. Go
What
ahead.
did your super chat say? I just want to make sure I shout out your super chat. I just didn't see it. Shout out to Joshua Doyle. The Earth is not a spinning globe. We are laughing at you, Rumpus, not with you. Sorry, go ahead.
It was ages ago.
You want me to share my screen?
Stress.
You want me to? I've got two people
What?
going on.
What,
Hold on,
John?
just 1 second, QE. Did you say it was a while back?
Yeah, it was ages ago. Like, there's no point.
Okay, shout out to Kevin Burns for the super chat. It says, I'm Madsbernie's, I can't say these stupid names. Don't know why my Discord won't work. That's fascinating. Thank you very much for the super chat, Kevin Burns. Really appreciate it. I don't mind sticking up whatever you've got. I don't care. What is it you want me to show?
This is what he posted.
It's in the live-stream.
Got it. Yeah,
text
it's on
chat.
screen. Yeah, audience can see it.
So, is this your debunk of the flat Earth?
Yeah, I got it. That's it.
That's amazing. It's astonishing, the depth and the breadth. Well, we should just go home, Nathan.
Thanks.
Just a screwed
How
up
do you
scan,
split
right?
split the donations?
Just something that's gone through a printer that's screwed up the scanning.
Well, I accidentally was scanning something and I ripped out because I was doing it too quickly. That's what happened. Like, it was just an accident.
I'm literally speechless. What the hell does this prove?
Oh boy.
Okay, we've got Brenda. How you doing, Brenda?
Brenda, bro.
Shout out
Good
to
morning.
Joshua Doyle again. Sorry, Brenda. As soon as I've introduced you, I'm sounding somebody else. Sorry. My debunk of the globe Earth is 8 inches per mile squared. Enough said. Yeah, there's no curve. Thank you, Joshua Doyle. Sorry, Brenda. Hello.
How does that debunk the globe, Nathan?
You're a bit quiet. Say again.
I said, How does 8 inches per mile squared debunk the globe?
Because there isn't any.
But how does it debunk the globe? Because that's not the model.
Well, either
You
way,
know
you'd,
it.
you'd need
You know
Earth
that's
curve.
not the model.
Let me know when you're done. There's no curve.
You know that 8 inches per mile squared is not the model.
I know 8 inches per mile is not squared's not the model. It's just a number,
Correct.
a string of mathematics. What are you talking about? I didn't claim it was a model. What are you talking about?
Well, the person you read did claim it refuted globe Earth.
Yeah,
How
'cause
does
there
it
isn't
refute
any.
globe
There's
Earth
no
if
drop.
it's not the globe model?
I see, because there's no drop. That's why.
What does that have to do with the globe?
Because that's how you measure it. 8 inches per mile squared.
That's not the globe model, and
All
you
right,
know
well, there isn't
better.
any.
You
Who
know
cares?
better. You know better than to claim that 8 inches per mile squared is the globe model. It's not, and you know it.
Who cares? What's your point? Have you got a model to show me then? What's the model? Show it me.
The model.
Yeah,
is,
show it me. You've just gone on and on about it. Don't ask me with an upward inflection. Show it me now.
Bro, you're angry.
I
Calm
asked
down.
I asked you how
This babbling little bitch has gone on and on and on about a model and how I've misrepresented it for the last 3.5 minutes. Now I want to see what I've misrepresented. Show it me. Get on with it.
8 inches per mile squared.
I heard the first 4 times. It's not the model. Now I want to see the model. So either stop your bloody babbling or show me what I've misrepresented. Get on with it. Now. Show it me. Show me what I've
8 inches
misrepresented.
per mile.
I heard you the first
Same
5
thing
times.
again.
8 inches per mile is not the model. Now I'm asking you, you bonehead. Where's the model I've misrepresented? Show it me so I can apologise to it.
Right. 8 inches per mile squared.
Heard you the first 6 times. Now, Dumbo, show me the model. I'm going to make a conclusion if you don't show me this
I'm
time.
showing it to you. I'm showing it to you right
Where?
now,
Where?
verbally.
You're killing me. Don't do this at the end of the show. Don't do it, man. I can't breathe. Don't do it to me, Brenda. Please, not this end. Not this late in the day, love. Come on.
Have you acquired object permanence yet, Nathan? Can you think about things without them being in front of you?
I want to see, see the model that I've misrepresented according to you.
The equation describes a
saying
parabola, not the Earth.
Yeah. What in the world?
What does
Do you know what? Do you
8
know what
inches per
C
mile
means?
squared
What
have
show
to do
means?
with the Earth?
Show it.
Have you achieved object permanence yet, Nathan?
Yeah, I achieved object permanence at about 6 months of age.
No, but you didn't, because you can't talk about things unless you can see them.
That no, you haven't got one to show me.
I'm only catching the ends of your sentences.
Is that
Again,
a no?
You have
not got one to show me. So when you say I have misrepresented your quote-unquote model, it's just the words that you hadn't said yet that I'd misrepresented. Is that correct? Not a sigh, just a yes. That's
beings,
correct. I have
Nathan.
not got a model to show you. That's why I obfuscated it and repeated my claim 6 times.
Nathan,
That's my
human
name.
beings,
Don't wear it out.
adults, can talk about things without having to have them presented to their visual sight.
So you can't show me then.
Adults can
That's
do
lovely.
that.
So you
We
can't
can talk
show me
about
then.
things
So
without
that's a
having
no.
to see them.
So it's a no. Just a
Right?
no. You can't show me a model. You can't show me one. You don't have a model to show me. I don't need the reasons
I
why.
do.
Just a no. I don't have a model to show you. Don't tell me all the things
Yes,
that are
we do have a
fascinating about
model.
not
You
seeing
don't have
things.
a
I don't
model.
care about
We
object
do.
permanence. I just want to see SEE, a model that you claim I misrepresented. That's it. It's simple. If you haven't got one and
Yeah.
I can't see it, just say no, I can't show you.
The model for the globe is an oblate spheroid. 8 inches per mile squared does not represent an oblate spheroid, moron.
All right, oblate spheroid. Where's Polaris in that model?
Polaris is a distant star above the North Pole.
Cool, and it's definitely in your model of oblate spheroid. Okay, can I just Google it? Hold on, let's just have a look. I've just looked up.
Polaris
Brenda,
is not a
I'm
feature
talking
of
love.
the Earth.
It's okay, Brenda. I know that everything I say will be devastating. I've just looked up oblate spheroid. It's definitely not an Earth model. It doesn't have Polaris there. I'm a bit confused. I only had one thing that I wanted to see in your model, Polaris. I looked up oblate spheroid as directed by you, Earth model, and it definitely isn't that. Are you stupid? Have you Google search what oblate spheroid is? Brenda, I'm asking you a question, love. Just listen to it. Have you Googled oblate spheroid? Because it definitely isn't an Earth model.
Polaris is a star. It's not the
that's
Earth.
not what I asked
so
you. My question, have you Google searched the thing you said to me when asked for a Earth model, i.e. oblate spheroid? Have you Googled it? Because it doesn't bring up an Earth model. Are you dumb? Did you mislead me? Are you lying? Why would you say oblate spheroid is your model when it's not? I'm very confused, Brenda.
It does for me. It comes up for me. I don't know why it doesn't come up for you.
Okay. If you say so.
I go to a GIS geographical website. It says oblate spheroid. You're wrong.
Shout out to Joshua Doyle, who smashed the super chat about 4 times. I'll just read out all of them. What's the model, Rumpus? Question mark. Next question. What's the model? Another super chat from Joshua Doyle. Present the math that represents the oblate spheroid, from Joshua Doyle. And last but by no means least, if it's not 8 inches per mile squared, what is it? There you
go. Nathan, can you share my screen, please?
I can.
Please.
Yeah, you're up.
Okay, this is from the Pontiff Maximus of Retardia over there at the Jose Clown Show. George let's see what we have here. D right here, D equals 8 inches per mile squared. Ruh-roh, Shaggy. Are you saying George is wrong?
I'm saying that 8 inches per mile squared is not a description of the model of the Earth.
Not according to George. He had a whole presentation over on Jose's channel.
He's not talking about the model of the Earth.
Oh, he's
talking
not.
about
what is
drop.
This then, a frisbee?
He's talking about drop, not about the model of the Earth.
That's right, drop.
This doesn't represent the curvature of the Earth. It represents
it doesn't.
dropity.
What does this represent?
Yeah, that was how I started this out. I said, yeah, there's no drop. That was my initial response. Was it not my initial response? I'm sure I said there's no drop. I'm sure that was my initial response. I'm sure this is where this all started.
Dropity has nothing to do.
Well, according to George, it does. So George is wrong, according to Brenda.
Nathan?
Yeah.
What geometrical figure?
No, it's me, Samik. So George is wrong then.
Per mile squared.
So George is wrong. So George is wrong then.
Nathan?
So
what
George is
geometric figure does 8 inches per mile squared describe?
Just describes a reification fallacy that fundamentalist religious zealots adhere to.
What kind of figure does that describe?
I just said it represents a fundamentalist religious zealot's reification fallacy. What part of that didn't you understand?
It's just a mathematical formula. What are you talking about?
No, reification fallacy. A religious fundamentalist zealot's reification fallacy. Didn't you understand the first 3 times?
Math.
I said it 3 times.
Dude, it's just math.
No, reification fallacy.
No, it's not. I'm asking you, what does 8 inches per mile squared represent? What?
It represents a fundamentalist religious zealot's reification fallacy. That's the 4th time I've said it.
Yeah, but that's just not true. That's not what that mathematical formula does. You're just wrong.
So does it?
Would you
does
like
it represent?
to know?
Does
Would
it
you like to know
represent
the answer?
Does it represent
Would
the
you
world?
like to know the answer?
Just a quick question. Does it represent the world?
Would you like to know the answer?
Does it represent the world or not?
No, it doesn't represent the world.
You damn Skippy. No, yeah, you're right. There is no drop. Yeah, we definitely don't live on a sphere. This 8 inches per mile squared nonsense, regardless of how much George asserts it's correct. Both Brenda and I would wholeheartedly agree. Definitely not representative of the world. Thanks, Brenda.
Because
First time we've
it
agreed.
doesn't describe or attempt to describe the world.
No, it definitely attempts to. It just doesn't. You know, for a start, it's got this this problem here that we like to ram at people. It's called R. That would be the begging the question bit of your reification fallacy.
Nathan, dude.
That's me.
Hello.
Hello. How can I help?
I want to ask you a question.
I'm here for you. Shout out to Joshua Doyle. Is George wrong, Brenda? Question mark. Can we not observe that drop? Question mark. Over to you, Brenda.
The answer is he's wrong because it isn't 8 inches per mile squared, and it doesn't describe the Earth as a geometrical figure.
According to Joshua Doyle, he says 8 inches per mile. Hold on, sorry. 8 inches per mile squared represents a sphere of 25k in circumference. Joshua Doyle, thank you very much for the super chat, and also MC Universe, thank you very much indeed.
That's
for the super
wrong.
Chat.
That's wrong. 8 inches per mile squared does not represent a sphere.
I agree. We don't live on a sphere.
This is the nah arguments from Brenda. Nah, you're wrong. No.
That's all I'm able to get out. What figure does that formula represent?
That's George. It's his.
What figure does that represent?
That's George. It's his.
No. What geometrical figure does that represent?
How many times? This isn't ours. It's George's. We asked you if you thought George was wrong, and you're saying he is. Take it up with George.
I'm asking you.
Why are you asking us?
I'm asking you what geometry. See, you know that you're lying.
No, I'm not.
Right?
What lying
You're
about?
lying.
What? Hold on.
Yes,
what am I lying about?
You're a liar. You're a liar.
No. What am I lying about? Try to pay attention.
You're lying about what the formula represents.
We're saying this is what George has represented the formula of the reification fallacy to be. It's as simple as that.
Do you think 8 inches per mile squared represents George?
George has represented it. What do you want?
Yeah. He stated it. So it doesn't represent him. I'm asking you what geometrical.
Then why'd you ask it?
Hold on. Let me do it. Oh, we've got such like minds. I'll just ask it. Oi, equation. Do you represent George? Yeah, I do. I was wrong. It does represent George.
Oh boy. Unbelievable.
It said yes.
What geometrical figure does 8 inches per mile squared describe?
Bullshit. Nonsense. Reification fallacy.
No. Those are not geometrical figures, Nathan.
Take your time, Brenda. Debunk the globe.
What?
Maths all you like.
Yeah, this is not debunking the globe. I'm debunking you and your interpretation here.
It's not my interpretation. It's George's presentation. How many times have we got to say it?
It's your understanding of his presentation, your misrepresentation. You're a liar.
Okay, I'll just read what it says at the bottom. Hold on. It says D equals 8 inches per mile squared. That's written by and presented by George Netanyahu. Am I a liar? Yes. It says it there on screen.
So, does that represent a sphere?
I don't give a shit what it represents. It's George's presentation of what you should calculate the maths for drop on his claimed reification fallacy. That's what I've said about 8 times.
You're just saying words. You're just saying words that you're just parodying.
What else would you want him to say?
Oh, my bad. Just saying words. I mean, if they're just words like your model's made of, then what are they worth, right? About as much as the words for your model.
George would agree with me that 8 inches per mile squared is not
Objection,
the
Your Honor.
Hold on,
model
let
for
us say
the
it.
Earth.
Hold on. Say it again, Brenda.
George would agree with me that 8 inches per mile squared is not the formula for the Earth's curvature. I know you can't read things and come away with an understanding of them. Yes, I understand that.
Okay.
You're
does
stupid.
Does the sphere have the radius value?
What geometrical figure do you get from 8
There
inches
we
per
go
mile
again.
squared?
She
You
just keeps
don't
asking.
get a sphere, do you?
So,
And you know it. You're lying.
Brenda, I'll say it again. It says on screen, D equals 8 inches per mile squared from George Netanyahu. Now, if you're saying
yeah.
what he's presenting does not represent a sphere, then take it up with George. I would agree that we don't live on a sphere and that there is no 8 inches per mile squared drop. How about that?
There isn't an 8 inch per mile squared drop, and 8 inches per mile squared does not describe a sphere, and George would agree with me. You are a moron who can't read things and understand them.
A moron.
Sorry,
who once
there's just
said
one other thing. Hold on, John.
DNA
Just
is
one more thing,
made of
John.
amino
Hold
acids.
on. Just one more thing, Brenda. So it doesn't represent a sphere, is what you're saying.
Correct.
I just want to read one of the thing it says. It says, sphere of radius r. Underneath it, it says D equals 8 inches per mile squared. Then he's got a picture of the top section of the sphere with a denotation of r. And then he's taken a tangent and given it the formula of 8 inches per mile squared for the drop of, and he's got it in a little box to make it very clear and obvious what he's specifically talking about. I'll just say it one more time, just for Brenda. Sphere of radius r. So just tell me again that D equals 8 inches per mile squared does not represent a sphere, and that I don't understand what George has presented because he would agree with you that it's not a sphere, even though he's got the word sphere of radius r in a box. You just explain it again, Brenda. I'm lost.
Yes, I understand that you're lost. And yes, you are correct that the word sphere is in a box. You are right. But that's not what he's talking about. That's not what the formula calculates. It does not calculate the sphere. It has nothing to do with the geometric representation of the Earth.
Oh, I see. You're misrepresenting what George is representing. He wasn't trying to give you calculations for the sphere. He's calculating drop. And as I first addressed, when our favourite super chatter pointed out 8 inches per mile squared, my response to you, Brenda, there is no drop. And here he is, George, talking specifically about sphere of radius r and his mathematics to calculate his bullshit claim of drop, D. Now, that D formula, according to George, for the sphere of radius r is 8 inches per mile squared. Now, I put it to you, Brenda, that you are a moron.
No. For one, it isn't 8 inches per mile squared. It's 7.98.
I'll just read out what George has said just one last time. D equals 7. No, my bad. My eyesight. 8. Let's just read it again. Just make sure my eyes don't deceive me. 8. Maybe you should take this up with George, Brenda. Another point for George. 8 inches per mile squared. I don't think my eyes deceived me. We are definitely talking about sphere of radius r from George. I'm definitely not confused. Brenda is definitely stupid.
You're wrong. It's an approximation and the error increases the further you get away from the observer.
Sorry, Brenda, is this the end of this train wreck?
Number one, dropity, what you call it, has nothing to do with the circumference or the curvature of the Earth. It has to do with something else entirely, with calculating the drop from a tangent line to the surface of the Earth.
Yeah, that's what it's detailed.
Therefore,
that's what he's detailing. Yeah, that's what he's detailing. That's what he's detailing. It's on screen. We can see that. He's calculating drop. That's my argument. It was my opener. It was my initial rebuttal. You ignored it, and now here we are with you telling me about how he's calculating drop. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that was my initial rebuttal.
And drop has nothing to do with the curvature of the Earth.
I just read out what it says. Sphere of radius r, d equals 8 inches per mile squared, and he's calculating the drop on a sphere. That's what he's doing. I'm just going to say it one last time. This is the most humiliating appearance by Brenda to date. So I'm going to do a few more super chats because I'm tired.
No way!
What?
No chance. The shoe.
Oh, shoe. Oh, you'll never live down shoe, Brenda. Observe phenomena, shoe.
Oh, I could easily. Well, for one thing, this
I could for one thing. Just calm down, sit yourself down, have a glass of water, calm yourself down, and listen to me shout out these super chats. So, shout out to, where were we? Oh God, there's been loads. Wow. George wrong, Brenda. MC Universe. Here we go. No, nuh-uh, you're wrong and lying, Brenda. From Joshua Doyle.
Yep, that's all she got.
That's pretty much, that sums it up beautifully, Joshua.
Every single time. And then she charges others with denying. I shit you not.
Another shout out to Joshua Doyle. Brenda, brainless. If only I had a brain, Brenda. Joshua, thank you again for the super chat. Brenda speaks on Sir George. I see. Brenda speaks on Sir George's behalf. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for the super chat again. Another super chat from Joshua Doyle. Thank you very much for all these super chats, Joshua. I really do appreciate it. At least you're getting everything read out. Where is the drop, Brenda? Question mark. Well, before I read out your last super chat, I'll let Brenda respond to that. Where's the drop, Brenda? Says Joshua Doyle from super chat.
Nathan, it's extremely difficult to talk to you on the Discord because you have speaker priority.
Sure it is. Sure it is. We
responded
heard
quick
you the
enough.
past 25 times.
So John's line secondary to mine, and as soon as John asked you a question with a admittedly worse microphone and lesser priority through my desk, you instantly responded to him. So I know there's no issues. You're just talking nonsense. I've got priority of the line. You can definitely hear me. Anyway, Joshua Doyle, thanks again for the super chat. Laughing my ass off like a 0.2 difference actually matters. Well, clearly you're not a woman, Joshua.
Nathan, invite me to any kind of channel where you don't have mods and we can have a proper debate, and not one where you just by speaking over talk me.
You get the same old stick every time. So, Brenda,
John,
what's your observed phenomenon?
John, you want to debate me sometime?
What's your
on
hypothesis?
Quantum mechanics?
It's a shoe.
John.
That was priceless. Shout out to Paraplegic Bear. Brenda, promise us... Oh, God, I'm going to have to get closer to the screen. Hold on, I'm just going to move my mic. Brenda, promise us you and Rumpus will never... Oh, God, I'm not reading that. God. Thank you very much anyway, Paraplegic Bear. Really appreciate the sentiment. I'm not reading that. Sorry. Joshua Doyle, thanks again for the super chat. Brenda, dodging the question as usual. Indeed.
No, John, have you figured out that light is a wave yet? It's not a particle, it's a wave.
Am I having an acid flashback? What's going on? Did we go through this with you? Probability distribution, right? God, we've got amnesia. Did you get recently hit in the head?
Do you know what does probability distribution have to do with anything?
Because that's what a wave function is. Oh God, I'm not having this conversation again. I'm
Nah, don't do it again, man.
I'm not going to. Shout out to Flatster. Really appreciate your super chat. Thank you very much indeed for your support. Let's explore the vacuum of Brenda's shoe. these are good super chats. Thank you very much. Oh, there's one more. Another one from Joshua Doyle. Thank you very much, Joshua Doyle. Brenda is more and more idiotic with every word. Yeah, I agree. Very entertaining, though.
Hey, sir, before you close out, I want to correct one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are you getting ready to close out?
I was, yeah.
You said that I was a sniper. Correction, I was not a sniper. The sniper platoon lived down the hallway from me. They were my buddies, and we cross-trained together. I was not a sniper, so no stolen valor here.
No problem, my bad. Incorrectly identified your former career. Okay, so while you may have made shots on the training field at 1200, was it 1200 or 1500, did you say?
I made shots from 1300 to 1500 meters.
I just want to say, kudos, that is badass.
And the training manuals describe how to compensate for the Coriolis
excuse me,
effect.
Brenda, he's talking to me.
Kudos, that's absolutely
The
badass.
training manuals describe how to compensate for the
He's talking to
Coriolis
me.
effect.
Oh, God. Now, I didn't say I hit all of them, did I?
Oh, okay. Did you ever hit a shot above 1200 meters?
Yes.
That's badass. I could never do that in a million years. I'd never hit a shot at 1200 meters. You got to be joking.
Yes, you could. Yes, you could.
No.
Just takes practice, man. That's all it
I've
takes.
seen people do it. It's one of those things. I'll just say this before I round out, right? I keep looking for new things to watch on YouTube. And the reason is simple, because I'll watch something totally unrelated to Flat Earth. You know, just to unwind. I mean, I do this every day. I love Flat Earth. It's exciting. It's wonderful. All those great things. But obviously, you want to detach from what you do in the day occasionally. And that's my way of detaching. You watch something completely unrelated. So you start off with something like MacBook repair. So shout out to Lewis Rossman over in the great US of A in New York, and I'm watching his video, and then eventually GeoShifter comes into the chat. Not GeoStream, but GeoShifter, just so people are identifying these people right. Next thing you know, there's Flat Earth being discussed in the chat, and it's a little bit hostile, and I've got to find somewhere else to watch my videos without people knowing what's going on. So I'll move on to wood turning. Seems totally innocuous, right? How can that be offensive in any way? Until you get to the point that they start bloody wood-turning spheres and globes. And you're like, oh, God. You can't escape this stuff. It doesn't seem to matter where you go. So you go to engineering. Why not? Look, go to engines and cars. I like cars. So I'll go to engineering explained. Now, if you've heard that name and you're a flat earther, you'll know what's coming. Engineering explained, of course, covers flat earth. So you're like, Jesus wept. Is there no escape?
You can't escape it. They really had that on there.
Yeah, I mean, the list is endless. I mean, I went to... It started off with stuff that was a bit more related to the subject when I did... Oh, got a bit of feedback from you. I started going to... I've forgotten the guy's name now. It's such a long while. Richard D. Hall. Now he's covering conspiracy stuff, but eventually it got to him covering flat earth, and it just seems no matter where you turn, somebody's going to be covering the subject of flat earth. You know, my interaction with Gary Awesome was the same. Oh, this is interesting. He's covering, you know, political issues and feminism and various other things like that. This will be interesting. Until you get to his flat earth attack on Orphan Reds, and you're like, oh, God. It's the no escape. Not that I'm saying I in any way dislike flat earth, but sometimes you just want to kind of detach from that. You know, if you're a mechanic and you work on cars all day, sometimes you want to come away from mechanicking and do a video game or something unrelated. So if somebody starts talking about car mechanics and customers of mechanics, that you're going to get annoyed. Right, that's me at the moment. Anyway, that's my rant. I'll just shout out a couple more super chats, as there's been a few more since I've been ranting away. Shout out to Joshua Doyle, of course. How you doing, Joshua Doyle? Thank you for the super chat. Brenda is more and more idiotic every day. I think I read that one already. Brenda has no answers. Globies have zero answers. No, they don't. They just have ad hominem and repeating their same bullshit over and 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 over. That's all they've got. So I think I'm going to round out shortly. John, did you want to add out any closing remarks? Or is Paula still with us? We've hardly heard anything from you. If you are, Paula, I'm really sorry.
Well, I thought it was only kind to mute while I laughed and snorted and.
I should have. I forgot. After the fact, oh, embarrassing when you're hearing me choking. You can't help it. You forget.
I could tell that there was some mutes because of. And then when you finally recovered, you'd put your mic back on.
Oh dear.
But no, I have no remarks to make about all that.
It was good fun though. I mean, my hat is off to Brenda. You know, at least you keep it lighthearted towards the end of the show. You can't ask much more than that. QE, if you've got any closing remarks.
No, I think that just about did it. Like I said, we're going to spend some more time on the Coriolis effect next week too. So, I mean, like I told you, I'm dropping anchor here, man. So cool. That's it.
Cool. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. Hopefully it'll come up more and more on the debates. But with that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who tuned into the Nathan Oakley 1980 live stream. If you want to stay tuned, there will be a short after show to follow on if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream. A massive thank you to QE and to Paula for making this Ballbusters panel possible, and of course a massive thank you to all of the public panel over in Discord for making the interactive part of this show possible. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley premiering stream. I'll see you all in the next Ballbusters.